everything and everyone. But still, because as Krishna, he remains in Golovrindan planet to perform pastime with his devotees, and he's not personally in his personal form as Krishna within this material world or within everything. But as Brahmajyoti, he contains everything in the form of Paramatma, he's there within everyone. So he talks about this Achintya Veda Tattva there. And then by knowing how Krishna maintains everything, Krishna is within everything, the natural thing is to surrender to Krishna. But still there are people who are illusioned, who are foolish, who are ignorant, and they do not worship Krishna. Next section talks about that. They are impersonalist, Avajananti Mamuna, Krishna calls them foolish people, because they think that Krishna is actually Brahman, but he has taken a human-like form. They do not know that Krishna's form is eternal. Krishna's form is eternally existing, and Krishna just descends. Krishna's form does not change, and that is why he can descend again and again and remember everything of the past, present, and future. So because they do not know the truth about Krishna's activities and Krishna's appearance, they are called Buddhas. So such people worship impersonal feature of the Lord, and they try to merge into impersonal Brahman. And then Arjuna asks, who are the people who worship you? And Krishna tells about Mahatmana Sumam Partha Devim Prakriti. There are Mahatmas, there are great souls who have taken shelter of Devim Prakriti, who have taken shelter of Srimati Radharani, who surrenders to Krishna. And such people, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantashi Jadavrata. Such people with great determination, always singing his glories, offer obeisances to him and render devotion service. Such souls are very dear to Krishna. And then he talks about three categories of worshippers. Ekatvena, those who worship the impersonal feature of the Lord. Prataktvena, those who worship the demigods, considering them as equal to the Lord. And then Virat Rupa worshippers. Three categories of worshippers he talks. And then he says that the people who worship demigods, they are not very intelligent. They're avidhi purvakam, because demigods are like limbs of the Supreme Lord. So the natural way to satisfy and to nourish the limbs of the body is to put the food in the stomach through the agency of mouth. There may be other holes in the body, but food is supposed to be put only in the mouth. So similarly, Krishna says that all demigods are like my lips, like Indra is like my hand, and Chandra and Surya, they are like my eyes. So one should not independently worship them. That becomes avidhi purvakam. The worship should be offered to me directly. But because these people do not know and they worship the demigod separately, that's why that is called as avidhi purvakam. What is the destination for them? Krishna says, Yanti Deva Vrtat Deva. Those who worship the demigod, they reach to the planet of demigods. Those who worship Pitras, they go to the planet of Pitras. And those who worship Bhutas, they go to their planet. And my devotees, they come to my abode because of worshipping me. So then he further describes about the worship of the people who worship the Virat Rupa, how they see the entire universe as situated in the material form of the Lord, which we described, and how they attain peace and tranquility, and gradually they will make advancement to worship the personal form of the Lord. So after discussing that, in the last section, most confidential section, Krishna unhesitatingly describes the glories of bhakti. First, he tells that bhakti is so simple. For performing karma kanda sacrifices, demigod worship, you have to do so much. Do this yagya, do that yagya, go here, go there. But bhakti is so simple. Patram pushpam phalam toya yome bhaktya prayachati. A leaf, a flower, a fruit, and little water. Only condition is offered with little love and devotion. And Krishna says, I accept it. So Prabhupada says that this is the glory of bhakti, that anyone without any kind of pre-qualification can offer these things to the Lord and can become dear to the Lord. You should have a favorable disposition. You should have love and affection for it. So bhakti is not barred for anyone. Anyone can perform bhakti. And then he says that even if one is not having bhakti, but he does his actions and offer the fruits to him, even I accept that. And gradually he'll become a bhakta. Yat karavashi, yat akshanashi, yat jujoshi dadati, yat tapasisi konte, yat tat kurushva madarpanam. And then Krishna says that although I'm equal to everyone, samoham sarvabhuteshu, and I'm not envious to anyone, but still because the devotees, they have given their hearts to me, in reciprocation, I have given my heart to my devotees. So although I'm equal to everyone, but because devotees love me dearly, they become my devotees. That is why in reciprocation, I become a devotee of my devotee. So this is Krishna's special favor to his devotee. And then he says, my devotee engaged in my service, even if in the course of performing devotional service, he performs some abominable activity. Not a premeditated, planned sin, but an accidental sin. Accidentally, some wrong thing happens with him. Accidentally, he falls prey to his previous conditioning or something. He has not planned or not meditated. He is not taking advantage of the words. But he says, if accidentally it happens, my devotee repents for it and he's rightly situated. He does not give up service to me. And that is why he should be considered as a sadhu. Sadhu eva samantavya. Krishna says, this is my order that my devotee, even if he has committed some wrong activity, but if he is situated in the practice of devotion service, he must be considered a sadhu. These are very emphatic words spoken by the Lord. And then he says, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Very quickly he becomes righteous. Again, he comes back to the original position. And Arjuna, you go and declare it boldly that my devotee will never perish. Arjuna asks, why should I declare it? Krishna says, because I love my devotee so much that for keeping my devotee's word, I can break my own promise. But if my devotee promised something to someone, then I never break that promise. When Narasimhadev appeared to Prahlad Maharaj said, my dear Lord, you have come, it's no surprise. Because Satyam Vidatum Nijavritya Bhashitam. You have the nature that you want to keep the word of a devotee truthful. So because your devotee Narad Muni promised that I will always be protected. So to keep his word, you have appeared from the pillar to protect me. Not because of my devotion, but because of Narad Muni's promise. Similarly, Nalakuvera and Manigriva, when they were given the curse to become trees at Vrindavan, when they were liberated by the Lord, they prayed. Because your devotee Narad Muni blessed us that we will have your direct darshan. That is by his blessing, because he gave his word, and your nature is to keep your word to your devotees. You have given us direct darshan. So in this way, Krishna tells Arjuna, you declare it, because when you declare it, the whole world will believe that I can sometimes break my own vow or my own word. But if my devotee promises something, that vow I will never break. Antaya pratijane hai, name bhakta pranashati. And then Krishna says that this practice of devotion service can be done by any person. It's through Vaishyas or Shudras who are not allowed to take part in any other kind of process of self-realization, but they can still practice bhakti yoga and attain perfection. Then what to say of those who are Brahmanas and who are Rajarishis and who are learned Panditas? And then finally he says, O Arjuna, Man manava mad bhaktu madhya jivam namaskaru. Engage your mind in thinking of me. Do not think of me like a servant, serves the master but thinks of his own family. Rather think of me and think of my glories, and my opulences, and my mercy to my devotees. And in this way, think of me, become my devotee, offer your worship to me, offer obeisances to me. And in this way, when you are absorbed in me, you will definitely come to me. So in this way, Krishna spoke this most essential words of Bhagavad Gita in the end of 9th chapter. And then now we are starting chapter number 10, which is entitled as the opulence of the absolute. So there are 3 sections in this particular chapter. This chapter also includes the 4 verses in the second part, essence of Gita. These 4 verses are called as Chatur Sloki Bhagavad Gita. That means if one has to say Bhagavad Gita in a nutshell, then these are the 4 verses which comprises all the entire message of Bhagavad Gita as Krishna wishes to reveal to us. So there is Krishna describes himself as the source of everything in the first 7 verses, then essence of Gita in the next 4 verses, and then 31 verses, Krishna is talking about how one can connect to him, how one can remember him by seeing the great and the wonderful and the splendorous thing of this material world. So let's go ahead. Source of everything. Krishna ends the 9th chapter with the imperative, Man manaho mad bhakto, that engage your mind in thinking of me. So now, chapter 10 is describing Lord's opulence, on which a devotee can fix his mind. He can remember him when he sees opulent, powerful, and beautiful things in the world. They're all connected to the Lord. So Krishna concludes by saying that one should become a pure devotee. And now chapter 10 will increase one's devotion by hearing about Lord's opulence. So the Lord is saying here to Arjuna, Bhuya eva mahabaho shrunu me paramam vachah yatte aham priyam manyaya vakshyami hita kamayaya. So Lord is saying that Bhuya again here, Mahabaho, mighty armed one. Shrunu me. Just like in the 7th chapter he says, Tashrunu, here also he says, Shrunu me, hear me. Paramam vacha. These words, what I'm going to speak, these are the supreme words, supreme auspicious words. Why am I speaking? Yatte aham priya manaya, because you are very dear to me. Because you are my devotee, you are my friend. You are priya manaya, you are very, very loving, very devoted to me. Vakshyami, that's why I'm explaining to you. hita kamaya, because I desire your well-being. So through Arjuna, actually Krishna is speaking to all of us, because everyone who surrenders to Krishna, who wants to love Krishna, is dear to him, and Krishna wants his well-being. Yesterday we saw some of the quotes of Srila Prabhupada, how Prabhupada is again and again emphatically saying that Krishna is more eager to help us come to him, to help us become pure devotees, than we ourselves may be eager to be. So this is Hita Kamaya. And then Krishna says, Suragana. I am not known to the Suragana, I am not known to the demigod. Prabhavan na Maharshaya. Okay, demigods are in three modes. Maybe the Rishi and Munis, they might be knowing. No, Prabhavan na Maharshaya. Even the great Maharshis, the seven sages, Saptarishis and all, they do not know. Aham Adirhi Devanam. I am the beginning of all the Devatas. Aham Adirhi Devanam Maharshi Namcha Sarvasha. Because in all cases I am their beginning. So Acharya has given an example, just like the son cannot know about the glories of father unless father reveals to him. Because son is born after father. Son has not directly seen or perceived the glories of father. So father only has to tell him what I was doing in my young age and how did I study and how did I establish my business, how did I achieve everything. Then only the son can come to know. So similarly, Krishna here is establishing that no one can know me, either the Suragana, either the demigods, or the Maharshinam, or Prabhavam, because they are all originating from me. Because they are all coming from me. I am the source of all of them. I existed before they came. That is why it is not possible for them to know me. Rather, throughout Vedic literature, we find that even the greatest of demigods like Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva or Lord Indra, they get confused about Krishna's personality. They get confused about Krishna's identity and appearance in this world. So here we see about Brahma Vimohan Leela when Krishna killed Agasura. Agasura was such a great demon that even the demigods who were residing in the heavenly planets, they were very scared of him. So when Krishna killed Agasura, everyone was so jubilant. Everyone did such kirtan that the sound reached up to Brahmaloka. And Brahmaji came on his swan carrier to see what is happening, why they are doing such a loud sankirtan. When Brahmaji came, by the time Krishna has sat with all his cowherd boyfriends, and then he was taking his lunch. And Krishna, in a simple way, the devotees were tasting, and they were saying what is so nice about the preparation their mother has made, and they were tasting it, and after tasting it, they were giving it to Krishna. So when Brahmaji saw this, he was really confused, because Brahmaji also worships Krishna in his Vishnu form. And Brahmaji worships with all lots of rituals and lot of mantras and yagyas, and with great, care and attention. Brahmaji, whatever he offers to Krishna, he does not even smell it. What to say of eating it and tasting it and giving it to Krishna? So he could not really relate. He thought, how is it this young boy sitting with his friends and just tasting anything right out of their mouth after they have tasted it? How can he be the Supreme Lord? So this is called Name Vidu Suragana. That even Suragana, even the best of the demigod Brahmaji, the firstborn creature, even he gets confused about Krishna. Because he is taking birth on the lotus which is arising from the navel of Lord Narayana. So he gets confused, and then we know that he stole the calves and the cows, and later on he stole the cowherd boys, and then Krishna expanded himself into cowherd boys and the cows, and then 1 year later when Brahma came, then he really got confused. He could not understand what's happening. So his four hats started reeling, and he got so confused, he came on earth and rolled in front of Krishna and paid obeisance to Krishna, and then and Brahmaji offered prayers. One of the most beautiful sections of Srimad Bhagavatam is Brahmaji's prayer. And one of those prayers is so often quoted by Srila Prabhupada and Varacharyas. Tatya anukampam susamikshamanam bunjana ivanakatam. It's one of the prayers of Brahmaji, how one should gratefully accept every situation as the mercy of the Lord and should gratefully serve the Lord with his body, mind, and word. And such a person who has this disposition, with this attitude, becomes a rightful claimant to go back home. So Brahmaji offered prayer in this way. Brahma Vimohan Leela shows that Brahmaji got confused. He could not understand Krishna as he is. And similarly, you find Govardhan Leela, where Indra, who was receiving his yajna, who was receiving the sacrifice, every year, when Krishna stopped it, Indra became so upset, so angry. He called the Samvartaka clouds. These clouds are called at the end of Brahma's day to inundate the entire creation. And the entire Bhumandala, it is inundated with water. So some of the clouds were called, and Indra was so upset. He said, "Go and destroy the Brajavasis." And Krishna came and lifted the Govardhan hill, called all the Brajavasis under Govardhan hill, and for 7 days they had a, just like we have Shravana Utsav now going on, they had a Darshana Utsav and Shravana Utsav. So there was a feast because Krishna Darshan is a great feast. Yasya nanam makara kundala charu karnam bhajat kaporu subhagam suvirasam hasam nitya tattapur drishabhi pivantyo naryo narashamajita kupita nimesha. So the Brajavasis are praying that when you see the face of Krishna, that is a great festival. That is Darshanotsav. That's why when Krishna goes to herd the cows and Krishna comes back, the entire Vrindavan is in festival atmosphere. So they had a Darshanotsav for 7 days and 7 nights. Without blinking the eyes, they were constantly seeing the beautiful form of Krishna. Krishna was playing his flute and reciprocating all devotees simultaneously. Reciprocating the cows and calves, and reciprocating with his friends, reciprocating Mother Yashoda, reciprocating with the gopis. So this was the Leela, but it also goes to show that Indra could not understand the position of Krishna, and that is why he made such a mistake. And many other times also, many other devatas they commit mistake. So devatas cannot know Krishna because Krishna is the origin of all of them. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport quotes many scriptures, Munduka Upanishad, Narayana Upanishad, and Kena Upanishad to prove that how Krishna is the origin of even Narayan and then all other demigods. So, and what happens when one knows Krishna and his opulences? Yomam ajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asamuda samarteshu sarva pape pramuchate. So one who is able to know me as the unborn, Aja. Like Arjuna says, Aja, even the living entity is Aja, because living entity is unborn, is eternally existing. But Krishna says, Anadim. Anadim cha means that I am beginningless, that I am always existing. This material creation has a beginning. Everything in the material creation has a beginning. Brahmaji has a beginning. He's unborn. He's eternally existing, but he has a beginning. There is a time when he takes his birth on the top of the lotus flower. But I am Anadim cha. And Veti Loka Maheshwaram. I am the supreme proprietor of, that's why we say Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Veti Loka Maheshwaram. I am the controller of all what exists, Loka Maheshwaram. Asamuda Samarteshu, one who understands this without delusion, then what happens? Sarva Papa Pramachate. Such a person becomes freed from all the sinful reaction in this world. So Krishna is unborn, his body is not changeable. He is anadim, he does not have any beginning, while the living entities keep on changing the bodies. And demigods were created by the Lord, but the Lord exists before that. So somebody who knows that, then he becomes free from all sinful reaction, because Krishna is very ununderstandable. We can imagine when Damodar Lila is happening, Mother Yashoda is bringing rope, and all the Brajavasis are getting ropes, and the rope is circulated around the belly of Krishna, and the rope is 2 finger too short. More rope is added, and the rope is still 2 finger too short. Rope is not becoming smaller. There's no magic happening there. The belly is not becoming bigger. It is not that Krishna is just pumping his belly and it's becoming bigger and bigger. No, Krishna is same. And at the same time, when Mother Yashoda trying to bind Krishna with a rope, there's already a black thread. There's already a black thread around the belly of Krishna with some, bells. You've seen mothers can know that, save, protect the children from inauspicious glances and other kind of effect. Sometimes they take a black thread, and in that they, have some brass bells and some things, and they tie it around the belly of the small kids. So Krishna is also tied with that small black thread, but this big rope is not able to bind him. So this is the meaning of knowing Krishna Tattvata. How is it possible? This is the inconceivable power of the Lord. So further Krishna says that he is the origin of all the qualities and personalities. So all these qualities, intelligence, knowledge, freedom from illusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, sense control, mind control, happiness, stress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy. All these various qualities of living entities, Krishna says, they are born of me alone. So because Krishna is the origin of all these qualities, That's why by having these qualities does not assure that one will understand Krishna. Because these qualities are coming from Krishna. Qualities are not coming before Krishna, but qualities are created by Krishna. Another thing is that one who surrenders to Krishna, one who worships Krishna, Yashasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana Sarver Guna Tat Tamasat. All these qualities are automatically developed in such a personality. Prabhupada gives a very beautiful definition for each of these qualities, what does intelligence means, knowledge means. And I request all of you to please read the definition, the very definition. And then further he says that the 7 great sages which came from Brahmaji, and before them the 4 other great sages, the 4 Kumaras and the Manus, they also come from me. They are born from my mind, and they were always absorbed in thinking of me. And all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. They are called the Pitama, they are called the Prajapatis. So they are the Prajapatis. So they come from the Lord, through Lord Brahma, and then through them all of the living entities go. That's why we have a Gotra. Somebody has a Vasishta Gotra, somebody has a Gautam Gotra. That means we have our ancestors like Gautam Muni or Vasishta Muni. So all these living entities, all these beings are the firstborn beings, the 7 sages, the 4 Kumaras who came from Brahma in the very beginning of creation, and then all other people came. Krishna said they all are descending from me. I have created all of them, and I have been existing before them. That is why even these personalities, so many great personalities, Muhyanti Yat Surya, even these great personalities cannot know me in truth. So it's a great mystery to know Krishna in truth. Who can know Krishna in truth? To whom Krishna decides to reveal. And then Krishna says that Buddhir Jnanam Asammoha Shama Satyam Damasama Sukham Dukham Bhavo Bhavo Bhayam. Oh, this is the verse actually what we discussed already. So one who knows this, one who can understand that all these qualities cannot help me to understand Krishna, all these great personalities are bewildered about Krishna, and whatever we see in creation is coming from Krishna. One who understands that, Etam Vibhutim Yogam Cha. Mam Yoveti Tatvata, somebody who is convinced of his opulence and mystic power, Vibhuti, then what happens? So Vikalpena Yogena, he does not have other Vikalpa. Vikalpa means other options. That's why this mind is engaged in Sankalpa and Vikalpa. Vikalpa means other options. So Vikalpena Yogena, that such a person engages in my devotional service without any other option. He does not get distracted by other options, other Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Karma Yoga. So Vikalpena Yogena. He does not get into other distraction. Yujyate Natra Samshaya. There's no doubt about that. So generally, people know that God is great, but they have no idea of what is the greatness of God, how great the Supreme God is. But somebody who knows it in truth, then what is the proof of such a person? That such a person engages in Christian service without reservation, and he engages whatever he has in Christian service. Christian service becomes his priority in life, and he does not get distracted by any other thing. So now, in the next section, Krishna talks about the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, the 4 verses which talks about the essential knowledge and purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So these next 4 verses summarize the entire Bhagavad Gita. Text 8 is summarizing his opulences and the result of knowing his opulences, how that person becomes a pure devotee. And 9th verse that describes how a pure devotee worships him, how a devotee reacts to how he worships Krishna with all his love and devotion. And 10 and 11 describes Lord's reciprocation with the worship of his devotee. So these are the 4 most essential and most beautiful and sweet verses of Bhagavad Gita. And so in 10.8, he says that those who know me become enlightened and devoted to me. 9th verse describes how they become devoted, what do they do after becoming devoted. And 10th and 11th is Krishna reciprocation, how Krishna reciprocate with their sincere endeavors to serve him. So one who understands the position of Krishna to be the supreme, then he has to do redirection of his heart, of his disposition in 9th verse, and of his head in 10th and 11th verse by gaining knowledge from Krishna. So this is the 8th verse. Please recite. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava samanvita. Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, aham sarvasya. Sarvasya means whatever exists. Prabhavo, that has its origin in me. So somebody asks, what is the definition of God? God is most conveniently easily defined as Janmadasyata. God is the source. God is the beginning of all that exists. Then somebody naturally asks, who is the beginning of God? Anadir Adir Govindam. He is the beginning of everything, but he himself has no beginning. Now, this point of a beginningless beginning of everything, that is accepted by modern scientists also. But only thing is because of their foolishness and because of their not gaining knowledge from Shabda Praman, from Parampara, they say everything started from a point. There was a point of infinite density and infinite temperature, and that point exploded, and then everything else came. They can't define from where the point came. They say point was always existing. It is equal to saying that the Supreme Lord is ever existing beyond material creation. But they take the origin of everything to be a dead particle. But here Krishna is saying that Aham, I am the origin of everything that exists. Everything that you see is having its origin in me. Everything is coming from me. Matta sarvam pravartate. Not only things come from me, but how they operate, how they work, that is also because of my potency. For example, a seed comes from the Lord, but then the seed goes into the ground, and how the seed turns into a little, creeper, and then it grows into a plant, and it goes into that process of how things operate. That is also coming from me. Matta sarvam pravartate. It is because of me that the things operate. That's like sun comes from Lord, and the sun does its motion because of Lord's power. So not only things come from the Supreme Lord, but everything operates, everything functions because of Lord's potency. Matta sarvam pravartate. Now, what happens to somebody who knows it? Iti matva, somebody who has known it, who understands it. Bhajante maam. He engages in my service. As we already discussed the Prabhupada said, bhajan means to render service. Bhajan does not mean to worship occasionally. Bhajan means to serve in the mood of a servant. Iti matva bhajante maam. He worships me, he offers devotion to me. How? Buddha. With all his intelligence and bhava samanvita. With all his intelligence and all his emotions, he engages in my service. So this is Sambandha Gyan. Actually, if we understand that everything is coming from Krishna and everything is working under the potency and the plan and energy of Krishna, then there is nothing else to do. There's nothing else for any human being to do other than bhajante maam, other than to do bhajan of Krishna. And what is bhajante maam? Engaging in ninefold devotion practices. That is bhajante maam. Buddha bhav samanvita, with all his emotion and all his feelings, because we do not want to render mechanical service. We want to render service with great affection, with great devotion, with great feelings. And that's what Krishna is asking. That somebody who knows this Sambandha Gyan, who has this knowledge that everything is coming from, he becomes devoted to me. You can see the six Goswamis. They gave up all what they have. Tyaktva turnam ashesha mandalapati, shrenim sada tuchhavat. They have Tektva Turnam Ashesha Mandalpati. They were like big proprietors of big estates, and they were government officers, prime minister, finance minister. They were big tax collector like Raghunath Goswami, very learned. But what did they do? Tektva Turnam Ashesha Mandalpati Shrenim Sada Tuchhavat. They just gave it up like Tuchhavat, like an insignificant thing, not being concerned about anything. And then what did they do further? Gopi Bhav Rasamrita Abdilahari. They were engrossed in tasting the Gopi Bhav in Vrindavan by serving the Lord as directed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is what happens. Knowing that everything is coming from Krishna and everything is working under the plan of the Lord causes a great detachment in the heart from the proprietorship and controllership mentality. Krishna is the supreme proprietor, Krishna is the supreme controller, he is the supreme enjoyer. Our duty is to render loving service to him. So this knowledge leads to great determination and great devotion to serve the Lord. Then what do these purified devotees do? One who serves Krishna with bhava, how do they behave? How do they reciprocate with each other? Krishna says in this book, Mat chitta mat gata prana bodhayanta parasparam katyantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Mat chitta, their mind, their chitta is deeper than the mind and intelligence. Chitta is basically consciousness. So much chitta, their consciousness is absorbed in me. They think about me. They remember me. And mad gatah prana, their life is always absorbed in me. Mad gata prana means they cannot stay without me, just like a fish cannot stay without water. Bodha yantah parasparam, they always come together to discuss about me. They hear from one another about me, about my qualities, about my pastime. Katyantash, One person speaks, another person speaks. They always recite by kathas. Like here we can see the six Goswamis and how Srila Prabhupada constituted the morning program, Vishnu Bhagavatam class every day. So Bodhayanta and Katyantas. So Bodhayanta means Shravanam, hearing process. Katyantas means speaking, kirtan, doing kirtan or doing book distribution. And Machitta means thinking of Krishna. So these three are considered the best of ninefold devotion. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. So these three are mentioned here. So Mam Nityam, they do not do it occasionally. They do not do it once a while. Mam Nityam, they do it constantly. And what is the result? Tushyanti, they derive great satisfaction. Cha Ramanti cha, and they derive great pleasure in that. So Acharya explained that actually even in the beginning stage, a devotee derives great satisfaction in engaging in Krishna service, in hearing about Krishna and speaking about Krishna. And then when he becomes perfectly realized, that time he relishes them much more than what he may be feeling now. But he feels satisfied even in the beginning stage. That's why you find that Krishna consciousness is so relishable that even from the very beginning, devotees take great pleasure in hearing about Krishna, whether it is philosophy or pastime, and talking about Krishna. So these are the activities of great joy which are performed by devotees who have understood that Krishna is the source of everything and everything is operated by Lord's arrangement. So such devotees, here is says this great joy that a devotee experiences by glorifying is a spiritual bliss beyond the words. How does he grasp what who is infinite in form, qualities, and power? Who gives them the method of realizing? Because Krishna says that nobody can know me. So then, how does devotees understand and glorify Krishna? So the previous verse just said how devotees worship these two verses, and now Krishna says that actually I am unknown to even demigods and rishis, but I reveal myself to my devotees. So, but before that, this is a example of Bodhayanta Parasparam. This is the exchange between the great souls. So they talk with each other. I can't. I don't know. Sound is not coming. But anyway, this is also written. Yesterday I checked it was coming.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I cannot hear. Is there interruption in the class?
No, I am here. Am I audible?
Yes, yes,
Audible,
Prabhuji.
audible.
Now audible. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. I was trying to make it work. There's some sound. But anyway, we can see that what is the meaning of Matchitta, Matgata Prana Bodhenta Parasparam. These great personalities, they meet with each other and they do not talk about what is happening in this world and what is happening to their bodies, but they talk about Krishna's glories. They talk about Lord Chaitanya's glories. They talk about Srila Prabhupada's magnanimity. So this is how a devotee's life is. That he is simply delighting in talking about Krishna with devotees, and then he includes non-devotees in that talk. And that is what preaching means. Preaching means to include those who are not aware of the glories of the Lord, to inform them of the glories of the Lord and make them interested in hearing the glories of the Lord, chanting the glories of the Lord. So these are some examples of great souls. And then now he says that how Krishna reciprocates Tesham satata yuktanam vajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. So now Krishna says that those who are constantly devoted to me, Tesham satata yuktanam, those who are constantly devoted to me, engaged in my service, bhajatam priti purvakam. They are engaged in service not grudgingly but with priti purvakam. Prabhupada also uses this word for chanting, that when we are chanting, actually our chanting should be priti purvakam. It should be done with great priti, with great affection. Then what happened to such people? Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. To such people I give buddhi yoga. I give them the intelligence which is required to bring them to me. So Prabhupada here quotes a very famous thing when people say that Krishna is telling me from within the heart. Krishna is inspiring me. Krishna says this is the criteria. Anybody can say anything by his own way. But Krishna here sets the benchmark. To whom does he give guidance from within? And of course, the guidance from within is also confirmed by guidance from Guru Sadhu and Shastra. But when somebody says, I'm getting inspiration from within, what should be the quality? Whom Krishna guides from within? Tesham Satati Yuktanam, those who are constantly engaged in his devotion service with great love and affection. For such people, Krishna does Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that sometimes somebody may be connected to a spiritual institution, but he may not be very intelligent and he may be illiterate. He may not be able to read the books given by the spiritual master. But Prabhupada says there's no problem with that, provided the person is sincere and he's ready to perform all kind of services, and that service should be performed with love and devotion. So we should know that bhakti is not the path of scholarship or the path of material. It is, it is the it is the path of engaging in service to Krishna with our body, mind, and words with love and devotion. Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. And then what happens that Krishna is situated within our heart. Krishna is in the heart of everyone, then he guides the devotee. And we have seen that devotee develop transcendental intelligence. Uh, I mean, all of you are an example of that because you are staying in a country where devotional service is not full-fledgedly and openly allowed. But then how we are able to locate a place and how we are able to organize the functions, and so intelligently become expert in not only maintaining ourselves but also become expert in preaching. So this is Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Krishna gives the intelligence how our devotees went behind the iron curtain and distributed Srila Prabhupada books. His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, he describes that he went to Russia and he's a African American because he's black bodied, and Russia all are white bodied. So it's so distinctly visible. KGB was following him, and he was running, and he went into one professor's cabin. He was running in a university college, and he went there, and then not only he saved himself, but he also sold a full set of Srila Prabhupada books, standing order to that professor, whose room he entered all of a sudden without any prior notice. So Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tavis, in ISKCON we can just see that how Krishna gives that intelligence. It's so very amazing thing. When New York was having its first Rath Yatra, devotees were not getting permission because they wanted to do Rath Yatra on 5th Avenue, which is the busiest street of the New York City. So the president, he said, okay, what to do? So he took a whole basket of prasadam, went to one more devotee, and directly went to the commissioner's office. And now commissioner is not that you can directly access it. So he met at the gate and he said, we are Hare Krishnas, we want to have a function, so please take prasad. And the person took prasad, allowed him further. Like that, they, got up like 15 ranks. They went one after another, just giving prasad and requesting them. And finally, they were right there in front of the commissioner. And they said that we want to do Rath Yatra. He's the Lord of the Universe, he's Jagannath. And commissioner said, I do not know why I'm writing, why I'm giving permission, but anyway, you do Rath Yatra. And he wrote the permission. That permission is still protected by the devotees and used till now. So the Dadami Buddhi Yogamtam happened. The devotees find out means and ways of how to actually, please Krishna and preach Krishna consciousness. Our Shyam Sundar Prabhu and Malti Mataji and these devotees in London, they used to send pies. They used to make apple pies because, this George Harrison, they had some fondness for apple, perhaps. They had Apple Studio. So they will send apple kind of pies they will send. And one time, Shyam Sundar Prabhu just thought that let me try it out. What is the harm? And he went just in the room, waiting room, and George came out, and there were almost 50 people in that room, and he came out and he directly went to Shyam Sundar Prabhu and says, "Where have you been? I have been waiting for you people." Now, who gave intelligence to Shyam Sundar Prabhu and all to give these pies and then to come there? This is all Dadami Buddhi Yoga. So somebody asked a devotee, "Do you believe in miracles?" The devotee said, "No, we don't believe in miracles. We actually live on miracles." So this is a devotee's life. Actually, it's all miraculous. If we see from one perspective how we are practicing Krishna consciousness in the midst of so many challenges and so much opposition, and we are practicing and not only practicing and maintaining ourselves, we are expanding it. It's all by the miraculous arrangement of the Supreme Lord. This is Dadami Buddhi Yogam. And we can delight in such arrangements by reading books about Prabhupada more and more. Now the Chasing Rhinos with the Swami Part 2 has come. How things happen in India, amazing. So this is Dadami Buddhi Yogam. And Krishna gives the guidance by which devotees can come back to him. How Krishna gives Buddhi? Tesham eva anukampartham. It is not that they have to register in some school, college or some course to get this Buddhi from Krishna. No. Tesham eva anukampartham. For such people, by my anukampa, aham ajnana jamtam. I remove the darkness which is born of ignorance. Nashyami. I destroy that. What I destroy? Ajnana jamtam. Atma bhava. So I am situated in the core of their heart. Atma bhava. Jnana Deepena Bhashata. I give them this knowledge. And the most classical example for this is the South Indian Brahmana, about whom we discussed previously, that how he was illiterate, but because he obeyed the instruction of his guru, then Chakshudan Deloji Janme Janme Prabhu say Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashit. So that Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashit happens through the instruction of the Lord coming through the spiritual master. So Nashyami Yad Bhava also happened, and this person was illiterate, was not able to recite Gita properly. He could understand the essence of Gita, and he understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna. And all other people who were pandits, who were scholarship, who could take out 10 meanings out of one Sanskrit word, those people could not understand. So this is the meaning that Krishna, just by seeing the right attitude of the devotee, he from within the heart he destroys the ignorance, and then the devotee comes to the realization that I am Krishna's eternal servant. So these are the four most beautiful verses spoken by Krishna in this 10th chapter. Here you can see the struggle with the anarthas. There are so many anarthas coming, but Krishna is there from within. As we are chanting his holy name, Krishna says, I dwelling in their heart, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So now in this third section, then Arjuna here confirms. Arjuna says, Param Brahma, Param Dham. My dear Lord, I accept you as Param Brahma. You are not only Brahman, because every living entity is Brahman. You are Param Brahma. You are the supreme being. Param Dham. You are the supreme abode. Pavitram. You are the supreme pure. Paramam Bhavan. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam. You are eternally a person. So Prabhupada again defeats the Mayavad conception. That is not that Krishna is a person. He is Purusham Shashvatam Divyam. Just like Brahmaji also says, Ishvara Parama Krishna. So he is a Sachidananda Vigraha. He is the supreme person. Adi Devam, you are the beginning of all the Devatas. Ajam Vibhum, you are the greatest. And then he says that it may be that Arjuna is Krishna's friend, he might be flattering Krishna. No, Ahustam Rishay Sarve, Devarishi Narada Satha. Even Devarishi Narada, Asito, Devalo, Vyasam, all these people confirm that you are the Supreme Lord. And now Swam Seva Bravishime, now you yourself are declaring this to me. So this is Arjuna's realization, Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna's supremacy. And then he says that, my dear Lord, I understand that no one knows you in perfection. Nahi te Bhagavan Vyakti Vidur Devana Danava. Only you can know yourself. Swayam evat manatvam vetatvam. So only you can know yourself, but devotees can know Krishna as much as Krishna wants them to know. And devotees do not want to know Krishna in a technical way. The example is given that a doctor may have studied medicine, and if a child is sick, then mother may take the child to doctor. So yes, doctor is diagnosing the child. He is also knowing about the disease, but the mother inherently knows about the child more than the doctor because mother loves the child. So similarly, Krishna reveals in whatever way is required to increase the love of his devotees for him. It is not about the technicalities of how Mahavishnu creates and how Those are all technical details. But Krishna reveals his sweetness to attract his devotees' heart. Otherwise, technically, no one can know Krishna because Krishna is ever expanding, and to know Krishna's creation is impossible. Even one blade of grass cannot be completely understood by all the scientists of this creation, of this world. What to say of understanding Krishna, who creates not only grass but the entire planet systems? So that is impossible. But Krishna reveals himself in such a way that devotees' heart become attracted to him and their love for him. So now in further 16 and 17 verses, he says, please tell me more of your divine presence. Divya hi Atma Vibhutaya, by which you pervade all this world. How shall I constantly think of you? Keshu Keshu Bhaveshu. How should I know you and remember you? In what form do you manifest? So, Prabhupada writes that by Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge by which he has understood Krishna to be the Supreme Lord. But still, is asking this question about his all-pervading nature on behalf of common people, because people in general, and especially the impersonalists, are more concerned with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme in this physical world. So, Arjuna could accept; he's already accepted in the last verses we saw. But now he's asking, please tell more about your opulences, how I can remember you by seeing things of this world. So Krishna replies that already I told Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, my dear Arjuna, whatever you see has a connection with me. But Krishna says, no. Arjuna says, no. You should tell more specifically about your opulences so that I can meditate on you and my love for you can increase. Because when we love somebody and know somebody's opulences, our gratitude for him increases. So some months back, we had a Gaurgopal who coming to our temple. So he is a famous WhatsApp personality. But he studied in Pune, and actually, Radha Shampoo had a great role in his introduction to Krishna consciousness. And later, he joined Chapati temple. Now he's a world famous person. So when he came to temple, so we were talking, and we were like, okay, talking about all Brahmacharya Ashram. And as soon as Darshan opened, he came out. So many people surrounded, started taking photos. That we were, my God, we were so amazed that we were just talking and we were taking perhaps casually or lightly. It's such a great personality. So many people drive inspiration and so many people things. So same way, sometimes by hearing the opulence of a devotee or the Lord, our reverence for him increases, our affection for him increases, our gratitude for him increases. So because of this reason, Arjuna is requesting Krishna that please share the knowledge about your opulences. And then he says that Bhuya Kathaya Triptirhi Shanavato Nasti Me Amritam. Another reason Arjuna tells, my dear Lord, by hearing about you, my ear has become, ears are not becoming satiated. They are becoming more and more eager to hear about you. That's why ears have holes. These holes can never get filled. So much Krishna Katha we can put. So Arjuna's eagerness inspires Krishna to speak. So this is the Prabhupada says that actually a devotee should be anxious to hear, and that is the qualification to attract the attention of the Lord. Laulyam should be there, that eagerness, that great desire to hear about Krishna, speak about Krishna, to think of Krishna, to serve Krishna. Because laulyam, that greed to serve Krishna and to hear about Krishna, that is the only qualification to please Krishna and to attain Krishna. So now Krishna says, Hanta te kathayashyami divya hi atma vibhutaya pradhanayata kurusheshta nasti anto vistarasya. Krishna says, my opulence has no end, but still you hear. I will tell you only the prominent ones, not all ones. I mean, the prominent ones are so covering so many verses. Imagine if Krishna will speak everything, and the whole Bhagavad Gita will get filled with this description of opulence. And then he says, I am the super soul. Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutasya Sthita. I am stated as super soul in everyone and everything. Aham Adishya Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Anta Evacha. And I am the beginning, middle, and end of everything. So this in a way sets the foundation that nothing can exist without Krishna. The entire universe exists because Krishna enters as Garbhodakshai Vishnu as a super soul. The entire material creation exists because Krishna enters as Mahavishnu as the super soul of material creation, and as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu as the super soul of one Brahmanda. And everything within the Brahmanda exists because as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu exists into every atom and every living being. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastha. So in the form of super soul, it is actually Krishna who maintains the entire creation, material and spiritual. So this knowledge he gives, and now there's a whole list. So we will just not go in detail of that, but just quickly rush through it, and you can read through the opulence if you're convenient. Krishna is telling the best of the things, and then he's saying that I am the best among them. Of Adityas, I am Vishnu. So there are 12 Adityas, and one of the Aditya is Vishnu or Vamandev. Of the lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Marus, I am Marichi. Among the stars, I am the moon. So like that, he is taking various categories which are observable. The sun and the moon and the demigods and the Vedas. And among them, whatever is best, Krishna is saying, that is me. Doesn't mean that Krishna is impersonal and Krishna is not that person. But that thing is existing, that best thing is existing, and the opulence is existing because of Krishna's glance upon it, because of Krishna's empowerment. So demigods, I am the king, Indra, the king of heaven, of the senses, I am the mind, because mind controls all the senses. Living being, I am the consciousness, the living force, because if living force is not there, the body is considered dead.
It's the most extraordinary divine golden mountain called Meru.
So
Meru is shaped like an inverted cone, and it is the sporting place for the demigods.
among mountains, I am Meru.
Are many supporting mountains called. It's the most extraordinary divine golden mountain called Meru.
So these are all different opulences which Krishna describes among all categories, and among the categories of demigods, among the categories of metaphysics, among the categories of famous personalities, among the categories of famous phenomena which we know. Of great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibration, I am the transcendental Om. And Yajnanam Japa Yajnasmi. Among all kind of sacrifices, I am the best chanting of the holy name. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Of the trees, I am banyan tree. sages among the demigod, I am Narada. So whatever is best among that category, Krishna says that is me. That is because of my opulence being reflected in that. Among horses, I am Achyutreva. Among elephant, I am Airavat. And among men, the best man is, we call it president. President means what? Prime resident of a country is called president, the best among them. So president represents the whole country. So that basis among men, I am Mona. Of weapons, I am Thunderbolt. Cows, I am Survi. Like that, Krishna goes on describing. Among many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta. And among the aquatics, I am Varuna. And I am Yama, the responsible of that. Among
Hare
bestials, I
Krishna.
am Prahlad, because Prahlad is the best among all the demons. He's born the demonic family, but he's a great devotee. That is why Krishna says, Prahlad among them. Among the rivers, I am Ganges. Among the fishes, I am shark. And of all the sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self and logician and the conclusive truth. Of all the letters, I am the letter A or A. And among creation, I am the beginning and the end in the middle, as he said. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. And among women, he says, I am 7 things: fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, patience. These are the qualities which are feminine in nature. Among the hymns, I am the Brahasama. In poetry, I am Gayatri. And I am the Margshishman among the months. And among seasons, I am flower bearing spring season. I am also the gambling of cheat and the splendor of the splendorous people. So, among descendant of Vrishni, I am Vasudev. And among Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Because Arjuna is the best among the Pandavas: competence, character, devotion, everything he has. Among sages, I am Vyasadeva as literary incarnation. And among all means of surpassing lawness and punishment of those who seek victory and morality. And like this, so Krishna says, furthermore, Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existence. I am the seed from where everything begins. Many times people have this question: what came first? Did the seed come first, or did the, like, who came first? The egg came first, or the chicken came first, or the hen came first? And Krishna says, I am the seed for all existence. Seeds are created by me, and then from seeds further existence begins. And then no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without this, because without Lord existing as Paramatma, even in the living body, the living entity cannot do anything. It's the Paramatma which makes the body sustain and stay. So Krishna says, Ananto Osti Mama Divyanam. This is Ananta, my dear Arjuna. Vibhuti Nam Parantapa. Oh Parantapa, my Vibhutis are unending. Esha Sudeshata Proktu Vibhutir Vistaro Maya. I have explained a little bit among them. Yad Yad Vibhuti Massatvam. Just understand the general principle. Wherever you see a spark of splendor, wherever you see some majestic thing, wherever you see some beautiful thing, wherever you see some powerful thing, in the past, present, and future, you understand is to be Mama Tejo Amsa Sambhavam. Wherever, I have explained a few of them, but the general principle is wherever you see something majestic, something beautiful, something powerful, whether it is into past, present, or future, understand it. Mama Tejo Amsa Sambhava. That has become possible only because of my Amsa. It is only a spark of my splendor. And then finally he concludes, Atha Athava Bahunetena Kim Gyatena Tavarjuna Vishtabhyaham Idam Krishnam Ekam Shenistito Jagat. Krishna says that what is the speed, what is the need to know all the detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Not only, sometimes you may say that, okay, within house there are so many wonderful things. There's a nice chandelier, there's a nice painting, the bathroom is nice, the tap is nice, the mirror is nice. But Krishna says the entire material creation is sustained by me. So whatever is wonderful is a spark of my splendor, because I sustain the entire universe. How? As Mahavishnu, I enter the material creation, and then only the material creation become possible as the super soul. And then I enter into every universe as Garbhodakshay ocean, and then the one Brahmanda becomes sustainable. And then within Brahmanda, I enter into every atom. Then every atom becomes active. Every atom becomes sustainable. So that's why understand that I pervade and support this entire universe with a single fragment of myself in the form of these three Vishnus. So understand this, and then that will lead to complete knowledge. So since Krishna pervades everything, all the wonderful or powerful objects should be understood as his vibhutis. They are his opulences. Krishna is not an incarnation, he is the source of all incarnation. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. So he is not avatar, he is avatari. All the avatars descend from him. And this avatari Krishna descends only once in a day of Brahma. In the 7th Manu's period, in the 28th Manvantar. That time the avatari Krishna comes, the source of all incarnation. All other times, other different incarnation comes. Kshirodakshaya Vishnu takes the form of incarnation and he appears. Only once in a day of Brahma, avatari Krishna, the source of all incarnation, the one who stays in Golok Vrindavan, he descends. And when he descends, that time only he opens the gateway for the living entities to come back to Golok Vrindavan. And then to teach that process, he further comes in the successive Kali Yuga, in the consecutive Kali Yuga, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to teach that process of Harinam Sankirtan, by which one can actually make oneself eligible to go back home, back to Krishna's abode. And then after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, Srila Prabhupada also comes in every universe to establish the process and to take the process far and wide and to establish it all over the planet. So we are a part of the transcendental plot. It's a transcendental plan. The Lord comes personally, Mahaprabhu has come, Srila Prabhupada has come. So we can just imagine that what a fortunate era we are in. There no greater fortune which comes in this entire day of Brahma than what is happening today. There's no greater fortunate time, more fortunate time. So Krishna says that, therefore, Krishna is most worshipable and worthy of all service. Understanding this with intelligence and realizing this with devotion, one will be able to taste Krishna's sweetness. So we are concluding chapter number 10 here. We discussed about how Krishna is the source of everything, including the demigods and the great rishis and all the qualities and all different personalities. That is why they cannot know Krishna. And then Krishna says that I am the source of everything. I am the operating force of everything. Those wise who know this, they worship me with all the devotion. How do they worship? Mat chitta, mat gada prana. They always think of me. They always talk about me. And they always hear about me. And they cannot live without me, just like fish cannot live without water. In this way, they relish and they feel greatly satisfied. And then how Krishna reciprocate by giving them dadami buddhi yogam. Krishna gives them the intelligence by which they make spiritual advancement. And Krishna from within the heart removes the darkness of ignorance by the torchlight of knowledge. And then Arjuna requests Krishna to speak about his opulences so that he can, even while looking at things of this world, he can become Krishna conscious by making a connection with Krishna. Krishna is saying that, what can I say? There's so many things, but I will still briefly tell you. And at the end, Krishna says that all that is beautiful, majestic, powerful, that is all there because of a single fragment of my opulence. And then finally, he concludes that the entire material creation is maintained by a fragment of my energy. So then what else can be said about all the opulences within the creation? If the creation is maintained by Lord's fragmental energy, then what is within the creation? So like this, he concludes, and then tomorrow we will be discussing about chapter number 11, the universal form, where Arjuna will request Krishna to display his universal form, and Krishna will show his Virat Rupa. So for today, we conclude here. We have 5 minutes for any comments, suggestions, or questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, actually today I felt that the name of the program is quite relevant, like Gita Rahasyam. Today, as you told in the Bhagavad Gita, how it is explained that a devotee do chant his name, but in the mode of love. Like even Kansa, as in the Kansa is also always Krishna conscious, but with the fear. He will kill me, he will kill me. But we never call Kansa as a great sage or as a great bhakta. We always remember as a demon, but whereas we see Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj always remember God with the love and with so much intensity. So this things differentiate between bhakta and abhakta. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind comment. Actually, Krishna, whenever he calls about surrender, or whenever he calls about devotion, he always qualifies it with love and this. For example, he says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Tvam Yo Me Bhaktya Prayachati. You have to offer it to me with love and devotion. And similarly, here he says, Bhajatam Preeti Purvakam. You have to offer with devotion. Tesham, and that Ananyanchan Dentomam Ye Jana Paritpasate, Tesham Nitya Avyuktana, Yogam Chimamahanyam. So whenever it comes, he always includes some word like bhava or love or devotion. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. They worship your devotion because ultimately Krishna is not in need of anything. Krishna is the, I mean, he's saying by a fragment portion of my energy I sustain everything. So what does he need? But still, our love is a function of our free will and desire. So Krishna is speaking all this so that we can voluntarily offer our love to Krishna voluntarily and unconditioned. So Krishna is revealing his opulences and Krishna is giving to us.
Sure, Prabhuji.
So thank you very much. Is there any other? Yes, Pundrik Jivan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, you just answered me. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Devashish Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I have a small question.
Yes.
If an inventor who is also a devotee, how can he or she be always talk about Krishna? As you said, the devotees will always talk about Krishna when they meet each other. Say both the scientists are devotees. They have to talk about technical terms or technological views for the improvement of science. You understand what I mean? In short, there's the question. Thank you.
Yeah. This is also coming to some degree in Bhagavatam also. Actually, we may talk of the things which are needed for our research and understanding and practical conventional thing. But a devotee scientist understands that all the element I'm researching, they're actually coming from Krishna, right? And the way they're functioning, I'm trying to understand the way they're acting and reacting. But they are functioning like that because of the order and arrangement of the Lord. For example, like we have this atomic model. Now we are studying atomic model. We are trying to understand how the nucleus is there and the electrons are moving around, protons are there. But we are not making it happen. It's already happening. We are observers. We are trying to observe and try to find out some conclusions and then use it for some practical purpose. But the reason why it is happening is because Krishna made it like that. So we can always wonder. Actually, as scientists, we are more able to see Krishna's creation and to get more wonder struck than an ordinary person also. Because an ordinary person, he may not know the details of the thing. As scientists, we have a greater chance to be wonder struck that how is it that Krishna has arranged everything in such a wonderful way. Whichever kind of scientist you may be, in the field of any field, electrical field, mechanical field. But in the each field, the laws which are operating, the element which we are dealing, the phenomena we are dealing, they're all arranged by the Supreme Lord. And because of the presence of the Lord as Paramatma, actually these phenomena are happening. So devotee should have this understanding. And then, yes, for practical purpose, now whatever needs to be done, we can do it. One time I asked my spiritual master that, I have to choose a job in a company and they ask for, what is your 5-year plan, 10-year plan? And if I write I want to be a brahmachari, then they will never take me in job. So my spiritual master said, you see, you have to have an internal side where you understand that you are Krishna's eternal servant. But for practical reason, whatever is the needful you do. And he gave the example. If I come from United States of America and they ask at the airport, who am I? And I say, I'm the spirit soul, I am a servant of Krishna, I have come from Golok Vrindavan, then they will perhaps not allow me to come in this country and preach. So I say whatever is my name and whatever is the conventional thing. But heart of the heart, we should understand what the reality is. So same way as scientists, in our duties, we can talk about the scientific purpose and scientific thing that we can do as a duty. But apart from after doing our research work, after discussion on that, then we should come back and do Sankirtan. We should chant the holy name, we should recite devotional songs, and we should do the devotional activity. So that also becomes perfect. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Nityam for a sadhaka, Satatam or Nityam word, that means every day on a regular basis. Because for those who are completely purified, they are pure devotees, they do not have anything to give and take with the material realm. So they can remember Krishna constantly and they can chant Krishna's name constantly within themselves. But for a practicing devotee, he defines Nityam and Satatam as regular. That means on an everyday basis. We chant our rounds and we do Kirtan, we read Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, and we preach. So that is how Srila Vishnu Jagadhi Thakur balances this and gives us a scope that we can do our duties as required and still we can do Krishna Bhajan as a Nityam or a Satatam.
Wait till the number of the
So I hope it clarifies, Prabhu. Devashish Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So
Krishna.
let us conclude here for today.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Such a wonderful explanation on this chapter. So we will continue tomorrow, the Vishwarupa part. So we will join the same time.
Yes.
For today, we will thank
Yes.
Prabhuji by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Rama Rama Hare Hare. Vancha kalpabhyascha kripa
Darubhyascha kripa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo namo 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 Vaishnavam ki jai.
Vaishnava
Ki jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.